Well, I think what's happening in Hanoi is extremely significant, that the president is attempting to do something and get somewhere with North Korea, because when you look at what's happened in India and Pakistan in the last 24 hours, once again, hostilities on their disputed border. And remember, they're both nuclear powers, armed to the teeth, and we have to worry once again about the possibility of nuclear war in that region, a region where, by the way, we fought our longest war in history in Afghanistan. So to understand the significance of why what he's doing there is so important, all you have to do is look at that other situation. No, de-escalation is extremely important.
And extremely difficult. And, you know, it's interesting to say, okay, well, how can the president try to get this leader to make any steps along, you know, in that direction? Well, he can use the stick of sanctions. Sounds like he's starting to think about the carrot of economic growth and prosperity. How is that going to sell with Kim Jong Un?
He's been talking about that carrot since the very beginning, offering out economic prosperity, saying, if you join, as Eamon reported, join the nations, join the world of nations, you can have a stronger economic base in your country. Whether or not Kim Jong Un wants that, I think, depends on his internal calculus. Does he see a stronger economy as something that keeps him in power, or is it something that threatens his power? He could look at China and say, wow, they liberalized for 30 years. They did reforms. Their economy got better, and the Communist Party is still in power today.
Right.
Or he could act like the Cubans, and every single time there's any little bit of market opening, they get terrified at the prosperity that it sees that it brings to their people, and they shut it down.
You know, we had a guest on last week, Sun Young Lee, who said, yeah, the Vietnam model probably has Kim Jong Un laughing. He doesn't see it as a way of liberalizing his economy. He sees it as a way of kind of waiting out the U.S., turning political appetite away from wanting to deal with that region, and then, as he said, going into the South with guns blazing.
So that would assume that we would remove our troops from South Korea. My understanding from senior administration officials that is nowhere in any of the discussions that are ongoing right now. You can have an end-of-war declaration. That does not mean that we would take our troops out of South Korea.
So that speculation, you think, is probably overdone?
They have shot it down repeatedly when given the opportunity.
Because
publicly and privately.
Right. There were reports recently that suggested the president is interested in being able to declare an end to that war in the way that he's wanted to declare an end to other foreign wars that were involved in. And maybe he wants to be able to say, look, I've achieved a peace and I deserve to be internationally recognized.
So in international negotiations, when it comes to peace treaties, there are actually legal definitions, different items, and an end-of-war declaration does not mean that we would remove our troops, right, as opposed to a full-on peace treaty. Why this is important, an end-of-war declaration, because you can't convince the North Koreans that they've got to disarm unless they are secure, or he is secure in his position. I think that's the key implicit. Actually, I think it's probably been explicit to them, but we are all learning now implicitly. We've told Kim Jong Un he can keep the job. You can stay in power. We're going to allow that. Please understand that. That's why you can be comfortable with an end-of-war declaration. That's why you can be comfortable about denuclearization.